Subranil Roy from Patna, and he says, Acharya Ji Pranam, is there any difference between being immersed and being alert? What we see in nature is that the animals are very much alert of their surroundings from moment to moment. What does J. Krishnamurti mean when he says that great alertness is needed to remain present? What does it actually mean in practice? Kindly clarify. Subranil, many ways are devised by your well-wishers, by your elders, by the saints and the knowers to help you and guide you. There is the way of immersion and there is the way of alertness. They both are in different topographies. These two ways are not in the same terrain. These two ways are located in different geographies. It will become clear. When it is said, be immersed, to whom is the advice being given and with respect to whom? That should be the first question you must ask. Instead of asking, Acharya Ji, what is meant by immersion? You must ask, who would be immersed and in what? That would clarify things to you. The ego is advised to be immersed in the truth. So when it comes to immersion, the ego is advised to be immersed in the truth. You get the whole imagery? The ego is a little thing, a little blob, a little nugget of something, a little lump. And it is being advised to be immersed in a great ocean. What would the great ocean do? It would clean the ego up. And if the ego stays determined and stays immersed, it may even dissolve. That's the advice. The ego is being told, you are not only small, but actually you are dirty. Small and dirty. Let that sink in. When they are saying, please be immersed, it all sounds so clean, but they are just being political, you know. Actually, what they are telling you is that you are small and dirty, so you need to clean yourself up. So go and get immersed. You're not merely being advised to take a bath. A bath is so superficial. You're not even being told to take a dip. That too is momentary. You are actually being told to get immersed. In fact, a word that is even better than immersion is marination. Because when you get marinated, then the solvent, the ocean, actually percolates right to your core. It fills you up. It swells you up. It occupies you from the within. Go and seek the company of the ocean. You dirty little thing. Go and seek the company of that infinity which will not be dirtied by any number of you dirty little things. You little lump of soil, go and take a long dip in the ocean. That would clean you up, but would not harm the ocean at all. The ocean has seen many like you. You come and go, the ocean stays. And that company of the ocean must be overwhelming. You cannot just go and touch and say, oh, I have had the ocean's company. It must occupy you 360 degree. It must occupy you everywhere, not only from the outside, but also from within. So I use the word marinate. In immersion, it is possible that you get immersed in the ocean like a little ball of steel. The ball of steel is touched by water only on the outside. But you must be touched within as well. So be marinated. And if you are touched within, there is no doubt that you will get dissolved. What would get dissolved? Oh, the dirty little thing. So the dirt would be dissolved and the littleness would be dissolved. That's good news. Or is it scary? That's good news. So it is in this context that the student is advised to be immersed. This is immersion. Ego seeking a total company of something beyond itself, much bigger than itself, and absolutely purer than itself. Getting it? The ego seeking the total company of the total. That is immersion. You cannot say the ball has gone half into the sea. It has to go totally into the sea, so that the little lump, the little nugget, has no contact with anything except the ocean. If you have contact with the air as well, it is not called immersion. Or is it? Is it? There is a difference between swimming and diving. What is the difference? The swimmer is in contact with something other than the ocean as well. And the diver, he is in contact with only the ocean. In God the One, you are not to swim, you are to dive deep and die. It's a matter of company, you know. You cannot say you have God's company. You have to say you have God's company alone. You cannot say you are in touch with God. You have to equally say you are not in touch with anybody except God. That is immersion. Otherwise, it is very superficial. You are touching God and you are also touching air. That's not immersion. It's not sufficient to be in touch with holiness. You have to be in touch only with holiness, which means you have to exclude away everything else. Otherwise, there is no question of immersion, let alone marination. Are you getting it? Superficial contact is when you have two to give you company. Superficial contact is when you have at least two to give you company. The solvent, the ocean, the truth, and the air. Who is the air? Well, somebody other than the ocean. So 50% of my being is in touch with the ocean, and the remaining 50% is in touch with somebody else. That won't work. What happens in immersion? 100% of your being is in touch with the ocean. But still it's possible that your being remains resistant to dissolution. And therefore, even better than immersion is to allow the truth to penetrate you, go right within you, pierce deep into you, and that we called as marination. The spiritual seekers often make a fundamental mistake. They swim. So, with a great sense of injustice and indignation, they say, you know what, we have been in touch with the teacher and the scriptures for so long, and yet not much has happened. The one question they refuse to answer is, are you in touch only with the teacher? No, you are in touch with a few others as well. Now, why are you horrified if you don't get any gains? You would get no ice, It's sweltering in India at this point of the year. If you leave the door of the fridge ajar, not only must the water go in, the door has to be firmly shut to not to allow anything from outside to come in and anything from inside to go out. It's not sufficient to move into God. You also have to have the door firmly shut. Otherwise, there would be no ice. No ice. And it's hot. When we muster up courage, then valiantly we park ourselves into the freezer. But still we keep the door a little open, to allow our friends to occasionally visit us, and we too can occasionally slip out. Now there would be no ice. But who would be cursed? Oh, the fridge. The fridge is no good. Fridge is no good. To get ice, be immersed in the fridge. Immersion means going in and closing the door, cutting out all possibilities of escape. Else you can have some, Rooh Afza, but no ice candy. Depends on the severity of your want. There are those who are all right with a little relief. And then there are those who want to put out the flame completely. They not only want it cold, they want it 0 Kelvin. Those are the really cool ones, you know. Now you know what coolness really means. What is it? To not to accept anything but 0 Kelvin. That's when you can call yourself a cool dude. Otherwise not. Then we come to alertness. Immersion is advised to the ego with respect to the truth. Be immersed in the truth. Alertness is advised to the ego with respect to itself. That's the difference. Be cautious against yourself. You are your biggest enemy. That is alertness. So you are asking, what is the difference between immersion and alertness? I'll ask you, what is the commonality that you saw? There is no commonality between these two. Immersion is with respect to the truth. Alertness is with respect to itself, the falseness. Be alert against yourself. See what you're doing. You're hurting yourself. You're defeating your own central objective. Be alert. Be alert. This alertness, if allowed to blossom, becomes what the Upanishads call as neti neti. This immersion, if allowed to blossom, becomes what the Upanishads call as yoga. The path of alertness is Gyan Marg. The path of immersion is Bhakti Marg. So, that's how these two stand. Supranil. You're saying, we see that animals are very much alert of their surroundings from moment to moment. No, that is not alertness. That is conditioned behavior aiming at physical survival. In spirituality, that has no value. Have you seen the big ears of the rabbit stand up all too quickly at the slightest sound? That is not alertness. That is the conditioned response of a little being aimed at physical survival. It has no spiritual value at all. Then you are saying, what does J. Krishnamurti mean when he says that great alertness is needed to remain present? Yes, because there are so many things that are very attractive and appealing to you, and they are prepared to take you away from what you really are. Obviously, those things are not to be faulted. Your own proclivity to be carried away by those things is to be checked. Therefore, you have to be alert against yourself. So Krishnamurti is saying, that which you are, or rather, that which you have assumed yourself to be, that which you mistakenly are, is very, very prone to nonsense. It is very prone to being carried away. Be cautious. You're not an expert mountain climber. You'll slip. The way your legs are designed, the legs have a tendency to slip. It's contained in your body. It's contained in the very physical design of the legs. You are given to slipping. You are designed to slip. So be cautious against your own constitution and construction. That's what J. Krishnamurti is saying. You will be carried away. Getting carried away is the default mode of your living. That's how you're designed to be. Not getting carried away is difficult. It requires alertness, practice, determination, devotion. Never complain, oh, I get carried away. When you complain that you get carried away, I feel like asking, what else do you expect? What else do you expect? It's like the eye complaining. I blink. I blink. What else would you do? You are designed to blink. You are designed to blink. It's like the skin complaining. Oh, I get dirty. What else would you get? You are designed to catch dirt. Aren't you? Aren't you? Similarly, we are designed to fall. Fall not from a prakritic angle. Fall from a spiritual perspective. Only from a spiritual perspective can you say that getting carried away by distractions is a fall. From the point of view of Prakriti, if you get carried away, it is not at all a fall. She will say, oh, it is natural. Why are you calling it a fall? It is natural. So we are designed by Prakriti, therefore we are designed to fall in a spiritual perspective. What's man's life? In 3 words. Born to die. That's how we are designed, Born to die. So never feel ashamed of your follies. Never forget that you are a lump of clay designed to die. Had you been any good, why would you have disappeared? And everybody disappears. So never be ashamed of any foul act that you commit. Never be ashamed. And by that I do not mean that you must continue with the folly. Don't be ashamed, but be awakened. A foul act can either push you into shame or can wake you up. If you are pushed deeply into shame, chances are you will be pushed deeper into darkness. Let all your mistakes that cause you suffering not ashame you but awaken you. There is a great difference. Are you getting it? Shamelessly wake up. It's all right. You're drunk in the night and there was an orgy and now you are found all stripped and naked in the morning. Now why do you run around to cover yourself? Just wake up. Wake up and commit to yourself that this would be a new and different day. But instead of that, what are you doing? After yesterday's blunder, you have already spent half the day today in just covering up things. Out of shame, now you are trying to cover up things. Does that not happen? After a blunder, what do we invest ourselves in? The cover-up. The blunder took 1 day, the cover-up takes a week. And our attempts to fudge and cover up and conceal and put on a decent face are all but expressions of the same darkness that caused the blunder in the first place. So shamelessly, just wake up. Shame is your connection to the folly, is it not? After the folly, what is your connection to the folly? The shame. Snap that connection. Wake up.